Hey, this is Thomas, or Goat Boy from BoLS, talking about the brand new Space Marine model release that we just came out. I put them all together, so let's talk about some of these models and see kind of my thoughts on them, and especially new plastic fun stuff. So, the brand new Terminators came out, and again, we just had Terminators come out in the Leviathan box set, so it's always interesting when they come out with another set of models, basically to give you all the build options, and that's the kind of more important thing on these Terminators. You get the missile launcher, all the heavy weapons they have on them, so that's kind of a neat thing on there, and they're a lot more posable. Overall, I thought they're pretty interesting. They kind of have a little more form as they're coming towards you. They're moving everything else there. They feel a lot more bulky, everything else than the other Terminators, but they look the same. They have some of the same aspects of it. I did love the fact that these kits come with a ton of bits. There's a ton of options. You can put all kinds of stuff on there. I think the biggest frustration I had was these little hip shoulder pads, which one fell off of this guy. Is kind of frustrating how it kind of glues on there. But hey, new kits, new models, everything else. And at the same time here, we have what my favorite model from this set was the Terminator Chaplain. He has the increased kind of height of the Terminators that we normally expected. He's not as weird and bulky as that weird special one that you got that everyone kind of, you saw in there that you had I think a store anniversary where you had to buy a X amount and then you could get it. But, so I kind of like this one better. Like, he doesn't feel like he is covered. He's a hoarder hoarding a bunch of like coats on him and looking like he's filling up there. He feels a lot bigger, a lot more broader on it. He has two different options for his Rosary, his mace. He's got a whole bunch of other bits, and of course he comes with a storm shield or relic shield that gives him an extra one, which I put on there because I never saw the relic shield, and the storm melter never does anything for me, so that's why I did that one. But those are the new Terminators. They're pretty neat, pretty cool. I'll continue on the Marine loadout. We have a whole lot of new jump pack and jump pack options. Of course, you have the Captain with a jump pack, which is probably one of the cooler models. He is very daintily dancing on a rock, which I thought was pretty interesting. And lucky for us, the way they design most of these is that the leg that has the rock on is all one solid piece. So it's not a chance to have a bouncing model. I know some of the other dynamic models that we've seen or messed with, usually they have like fabric or something else holding them, so they have like a little, they do a nice little dance when they land on the table and can bounce around. And luckily, all these new ones don't. They are daintily running across rocks and broken concrete. I mean, it seems like there's never a pretty world in Warhammer 40k. So, there's no one ever likes anything. Everything's broken and destroyed. I also wonder how much concrete they got to use to make this stuff. But these guys are cool. They're pretty dynamic. I mean, you saw the Assault Intercessors. They're, updated kind of forms of that now with a cool 3-part jump pack, which is what I enjoyed. It's pretty easy. The only weird thing is I don't know about these vents, because the way they kind of go on, there's not like really, you'd think they would lock them in there so you get like, it has more movement to kind of do some posing on them. But you get a ton of heads, a ton of different options. You can have a helmeted or not helmeted. I think I did all these with unhelmeted because their heads are pretty neat, so they got that kind of little baby heads running around in there because they feel like they actually match a little bit more. I think the biggest kind of weird frustration is that, all the pouches are separated. So you can put whatever pouches and stuff you want on there and cover them in pouches, because that's what Space Marines are about, pouches. If they're going to make if you're going to make a jump pack army that uses a lot of jump things options, this is going to be where you're going to start, because you can have a ton of these guys and they look sweet. So here we have the Sternguard, which it's always a weird, when they have a really nice kit from Leviathan that basically covers your Sternguard, and then they come out with a multi-part Sternguard unit. And by multi-part, it is a ton of parts. Everyone has the option for a combi weapon. Everyone has an option for something else. Everyone has different things that make them look cool and sweet. They have little things that can connect on top. You have different pouches in the front. They have a plethora of pouches. I mean, this is a full-blown super convert kit. If you want pieces to basically build off your guys on here, this is probably where one of the starting points are going to be, because you get so much stuff in here. It makes you wish they really made a Vanguard Vet version of this box set too, where you had all the Vanguard Vet and all the weapon options. But that's what kind of, feels like. I don't know if you ever built any of the old Sternguard or Vanguard Vet boxes where they basically had a sprue exploding with bits. This is what they are. And they're neat looking. I mean, like I said, you can do whatever you want with this. I I loaded most of the ones that I made for them with combi weapons because I like the idea of combi weapons, especially with anti-infantry and all the other stuff on there. But they're neat, they're cool, they're kind of fun. They have like a nice, solid, chunky feel, and they're cool kits. I didn't go crazy with adding extra bits on there because someone else is going to paint them, not me. And I just don't like all that other stuff because it's like you can't get in the way of it. But yeah, you can go crazy with it. You're going to see people who have so many badges like there's some kind of Boy Scout, group. Last but not least, you have the brand new, I think, Company Command or kit. It comes with a captain, which has a bunch of parts and a bunch of things to make it look cool. Then it comes with a bunch of guys that are like movie Marines type characters. So you have this weird heavy bolter that is like a flat 3 damage heavy bolter, which seems pretty good. They have a banner to be like, woo, my banner. You get a banner kit in there. You have the company champion, which, I want to grow up to be an Emperor's champion. He's pretty cool with kind of like a blade guard style design. And then you've got Mr. Robot Hand and his other kind of bolter, which almost like the Lieutenant bolter, and also it's a special mastercrafted bolter. But this is kind of this new Company Command kit where it's a bunch of 4 wound guys that are on huge bases, like a little command that we grouped on there, like you would ever see all the other characters that would have it. They would have their buddies that hang out with and a bunch of wounds on there. I like it. We will see if it stays as cheap as it does in the book, or if it's going to be as cheap point-wise or anything else on there, but it's pretty neat. Kind of does a bunch of neat little unique rules, and these are the type of things I hope we see in other books, because it's neat. It reminds me of 40K. It reminds me of all this stuff, all the books you read of all their buddies and everything else on there doing crazy nonsense stuff and beating up things. But this is definitely one of the cooler kits and something I expect people to at least always have at least one when they're playing Space Marines, and they can make it with everything else. You'd think that all the heroes would have their buddies run around there like this too. But that's the kind of new release that we've got currently. I think there's some other pieces coming later on in the future. I'm sure I'm going to build some of those other Marines. But overall, it's pretty unique and fun, and a bunch of big, chunky Space Marine models that are in Primaris, but not Primaris. Hi, I'm GoatBoy from BoLS. If you want to check out any other links, other videos on here, please check them out. You can see a bunch of us talking about Space Marines and everything else on there, and see all the kind of fun stuff we have going on.